Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here at the National Training and Simulation Association's annual iFest conference and trade show. And we have with us in Northern Virginia, and we have with us Penn Arthur, who's here all the way from sunny Los Angeles, California. You're the CEO of Inhance Digital, and you're partnered with Community Force on what they're doing, and we already talked to Jordan Thomas about that. Talk to us a little bit about what you guys are doing here, because the system that you've created as part of the architecture that Community Force is doing in partnership also with Adobe is to use virtual reality, headsets, 3D headsets, to make training easier, and all sorts of training evolutions, but also real-world tasks easier. Talk to us a little bit about the company, what you guys do, and about this product set you guys have here.
Great. Well, we founded Inhance Digital about 20 years ago. Our goal is to take the best from film and visual effects and best from video game industries to help explain complex science and technology concepts for marketing, education, and training. And we've seen an amazing growth opportunity in the ability to create these type of augmented and virtual reality training and maintenance, repair, and overhaul applications. This is the Microsoft Hololens. This is one of our favorites. We work with lots and lots of different devices. This is basically a wearable laptop. It's a very powerful device. It allows you to sense and track objects in 3D, in 3 dimension, in the real world, and that's what's called mixed reality. Now, mixed reality is a great, it's a really great tool for doing things like training somebody step by step how to repair something. This also can be used for a real-world application where a maintainer might need to go out and work on an aircraft or a vehicle, and this will literally lock a 3-dimensional part, virtual part, to the physical part. We created an application for the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory out of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base as an initial proof of concept, because this is so new, people don't really understand the power of it and what it can do. So we're here demonstrating that today, and we think that augmented is definitely, and mixed reality is definitely the wave of the future.
And walk us through, you guys have a demo, and it's very, very powerful to see what this kind of a tool can do, not just from a training standpoint, but from actually a daily job standpoint. And you have a guy who comes in, checks into work, picks up his goggle, and then, so walk us through from when Sergeant, what's his name?
Sergeant Koenig, yeah.
Sergeant Koenig, gets to the job, and all the things that he can do in terms of doing this. And no, he's not doing like magic spells. This isn't a Harry Potter thing.
Well, it seems like magic, and see, any new technology feels a lot like magic, and to me this does feel a little like magic. So I may need to reset this here and get it started, but I've got my my heads-up display here, and I'm going to go ahead and launch the application. I'm going to play the part of Sergeant John Koenig. I'm an aircraft maintainer. I get to work, and I don't know if you can see on the screen behind me up there, but I've got my dashboard. So I come to work, I've got all the things I need to do to perform my mission, and I see I have a new work order, so I'm going to go ahead and select that new work order. Now, this over a little bit. So what I've got is I've got a whole list of all the job orders I've been working on, and now I have a menu of the things I need to do to perform my job. First thing I might want to know is, where's the aircraft located I'm going to be working on today? So I can bring up a map and I can see, this can be a Google map, it can be GPS, and I locate the aircraft that I have to work on. I know it's on ramp A5. The other thing I can do is I can bring up a hologram of a particular aircraft. In fact, this is the one I'm going to be working on. And as you see, I have a little timeline. I can grab this hologram and move it around, and I can select a year. And I can look at what's called a digital thread, digital twin of this aircraft, and I can see contextually everywhere maintenance has been performed on this aircraft. In fact, I can dive in here, and all of this can be synced to a database, and I can pull all of the maintenance records up. Then when I'm ready, the next thing I can do is I can go, well, what's my job going to be about? Can I rehearse my mission, basically? So I'm going to go in here, and I've got my digital sort of stand-in, and I can do things like examine, well, what parts am I going to need? And I can familiarize myself with those parts. And just like YouTube, I can have a library of videos that will show me how to replace that part, how to repair it. I can also pull up the tools. Well, what tools am I going to need for the job? And I can go down the list, and if there's something that I'm unfamiliar with, again, I can play a video and learn about how to use that tool or refresh myself on that. I can also do things like pull in the consumables. Then when I'm ready to go out to the aircraft, you can see all my tools have been assigned. They're all up there. They're all known in the TO. And I can go ahead and proceed out to the job site. But before I do, we actually have a predictive analytics capability that's tied into this smart device that's telling me that while I have that aircraft apart, there's an inspection that has to take place. Normally what would happen is these two things wouldn't be talking to each other. The guy would go out, repair the aircraft, put it back together. Somebody else would come out, 24 hours or less later and have to tear the aircraft apart again. So it's a real time saver. Plus, it allows you to add that predictive analytics capability.
Well, and also when you're going out to the airplane, right? It gives you the tool set, right, the fluoroscope or whatever else you're going to need in order to be able to check that part out. So you're actually, again, maximizing the time that you're spending.
Absolutely, and this is a real time saver and also for accuracy. So I have a digital stand-in of an aircraft. They wouldn't let us bring an F-15 in the building. Unfortunately, Hilton said, no, can't do it. So we've got a digital
That would have been really, really cool, by the way.
Yeah, it would have been really cool, too. I'd love to have one of those. So we're here, and we've got our digital F-15. This would be a real F-15. We'd be out on the flight line. We'd be up on the ladder. And I have a user interface that's locked right to the area where I need to work. So the other great thing about HoloLens is it does object recognition. So we can recognize the geometry of the aircraft and track the user interface and lock it right to where we're going to work. And we could have multiples of these around the aircraft. So if I have lots of things to do on this aircraft, I can have a spot here, I can walk to another spot, and we can do this using markers or just using the aircraft geometry itself. So now the other thing that's great about HoloLens, it has a fantastic voice recognition capability. So I can have my hands free, be up on the ladder, and I can say next, 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 and I can step through all the steps. Next, next.
And just to tell everybody, we're replacing an aileron actuator, I think, on this particular case.
And you can get really close down in here. And with mixed reality, that bolt could be a virtual bolt that is superimposed on the physical bolt. It could be glowing. I can have an arrow telling me what direction to turn it. It can bring up the tool, picture of the tool, and tell me, use this tool to remove this piece. So it's very, very powerful. Somebody with very limited amount of experience can come in here and actually repair something. Now, there's a lot of other uses for this too. Imagine, there's a terrible disaster. A soldier gets injured, you're the only guy there, and you don't have any medical experience. Well, there's a camera built in here, and I can reach out to somebody and make a Skype call. That person can see what I'm seeing and guide me and tell me exactly what to do, which I'm going to show you next. So you can see I've just made a Skype call. I've called a subject matter expert. He's asking me what I need. I'm telling him, hey, I have a problem. I'm not quite sure where the wiring goes. Can you help me out? So I'm going to say, hey, I'm not sure where the wiring goes. Can you help me? Great. Thanks, Dave. So he just helped me, guided me through what I needed to do, can tell us straight on his end. Super powerful. The other great thing is, the Air Force has what's called a 7-level review. Well, typically somebody would have to come out, drive out to where I am, and inspect what I did to make sure I did it properly. Well, with the HoloLens type of device, or any device has a forward-facing camera, you can actually have that person Skype in and have me walk around and do the inspection so they can see what I can see. And you can get very, very, very close. I can get really in here to make sure that the connections are done right and that the cotter keys are closed and everything is done. And then that person can digitally sign off on that.
And just to tell people, it is remarkable the fidelity of it. You can actually see the wiring bundle. You can see all of the individual pieces as you sort of look around that actuator, which makes it very impressive.
And clear. And the other thing I just want to mention, there's about a 1-second delay. I'm on a short Wi-Fi network. There is no delay in the device. It's only just the way I'm transmitting and being able to, so I can show you guys at home what's going on. Now, the last part of this is this just recorded everything that I did. So, for forensic purposes and for the record, it's going to record, it's going to track how much time it took to do it. If there's ever a problem, we can go back and review that tape and see exactly what happened.
And there are also, that's exactly right, because the old saying is if the airplane breaks, always check who the last human being is who touched the airplane, and you'll probably find the source of the problem. You guys also have a variety of different, that this works, you guys have looked everything from putting a Samsung Galaxy to $100 headset on one end of the training spectrum, all the way up to the $2,000 set here that you have with the Microsoft device. You know, what are all of these different levels for, and what do you envision sort of the fielded unit? Is it something that's going to look a little bit more like Google Glass? Is it going to be, you know, where is that going to take us just in a couple of years' time in terms of what the technology will allow?
Well, for us, it's right tool for the job. The first thing we try to figure out is what are they trying to do? What is the customer trying to do? What are the potential problems that they have? And then we can try to figure out and tailor the device. The HoloLens is a fantastic device. It really works well for doing 3D tracking and 3D thing. And by the way, it's about a $3,000 device right now.
Sorry about that.
No problem. There are other devices that are smaller and lighter weight that may just have a monocle. So if I just want to bring up the maintenance manual and be able to look at it and refer to it, I can do that. I don't need to be able to track it to the physical object. So there's different levels and different stages of this. We think in the future, the devices are only going to get lighter, faster, better, cheaper. I mean, think of this as like a laptop from many years ago, or a tablet. You know, the first generation of tablets, they were thicker, bigger. You know, now these things are going to get more lighter weight. They're going to get thinner. They're going to get more capable, and that's what we're seeing. So we're really excited about this technology.
Penn, thanks very much for sharing it with us. You know, best of luck to you guys, and look forward to staying in touch.
Great, thank you so much. Appreciate it.